Welcome to the Paranormal Misfit podcast, where the curious roam, the weird feels at home, and the horror is just another day in the office. I'm your host, Chrissy.
And I'm your host, Nino Daniel.
And today we have very special guests on with us. We have Austin and Cody from the Dead Watch Paranormal Investigation Group, and they're here to tell us about their background, their favorite investigations, their current investigations, and any other questions we may bombard them with. So,
Which we will.
Nino definitely will.
I have so many questions. This is why I passed in high school.
So anyways, if you guys want, go ahead and introduce yourselves and then kind of give us the background on how Dead Watch kind of came to be.
Hey guys, my name is Austin Barnett. I'm Cody. I formed Dead Watch back in 2019 as a team that was just kind of meant to be for investigators to come in and kind of confront themselves and conduct themselves, which is something that we still do. Just to kind of give a little bit more, not only set us apart from all the other teams in the field, but also to, I had been working prior with another team, and due to a lot of drama and unforeseen circumstances, we literally had to close our doors because of it. And it just kind of put me into a mood where it was just like, oh, hey, watch this. And started up Dead Watch, and we just kind of went from there. And it's been going pretty good. Last 2-3 years, now that we've actually really had the time and energy to put everything to it. The main reason why we got into this is because actually the house that we live in still to this day, we actually inherited off our parents, was literally just, it was haunted. I mean, straight up haunted. There's a little girl that drowned in the baby pool in our backyard. We have a dirt floor cellar in the basement, and there's a actual headstone that somebody stole in like the early 1900s in a crawl space in our basement. And we were literally down to the point for where they were just so active, we were basically being tortured, night in, night out, living here, and just causing a weird attraction to the paranormal.
No big deal.
No big deal. Look, everyone inside.
Just a
I know now is second nature.
Yeah. It's so funny. You said dirt cellar, and I'm like, my friend lives in Nebraska, and I'm terrified of her basement.
Someone just tore it right from the cabin and just placed it down. You open it up, like, I want to die.
No.
I've opened a lot of doors in my life, and
That ain't it.
this one we're gonna go ahead and Chrissy, I don't know about you, I'm keeping it closed. Okay, so for those of us who sit in the back of geometry class, what is a dirt cellar?
So a dirt cellar is cellar. It's essentially a cellar. It's mostly composed of brick, and the floor is dirt floor.
Oh, so it's earth. It's like an earth floor.
Yeah, it's actually crazy because we've lived. Well, my parents lived here. Now we live here, but we've about almost 20 years now, and during that 20 years, we've slowly seen the cellar just get shorter and shorter from where the house is just sinking. It's insane. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much. We just hope we're not the submarine involved when it does go down.
Stop. Wait.
Okay. So you guys have two particular locations that you want to talk about today. And I'm not going to try and say the first one. It starts with an A, and I'm not going to lie. I butcher names like crazy. And then the other one looks like Bill.
Yeah, Bill.
The other one is Bill Manor.
Yes.
So which one would you like to kick off with first?
We might as well just go ahead and talk about the village. That's actually a place that we will never, ever, ever go back to, just because of everything that happened that night. We had started this little tour thing through another paranormal investigations team. His name's Austin Menard. He works a lot with Nick Groff. former Ghost Adventures.
Hmm.
And he had set us up with like, what was it, like 7 places?
Yeah.
Just on this massive tour. And one of the places was this village. Well, it wasn't technically a village. They had taken from the town of Defiance, Ohio, which they were like one of the few towns, come to find out, in Ohio that during the Civil War was still fighting on the side of the Confederates. And it caused there was like a huge massacre out near there. But they had taken the original houses that were in Defiance, and they had moved in like churches, old saloons, barber shops, and had just moved them into this area and created like a small village with it. They had also too taken, and I have to laugh about it. They did construction, and they had built a Walmart somewhere over in the town. And when they did, when they were putting down the parking lot, they came across a cemetery. And a whole cemetery, whole graveyard. And instead of removing everything, they took the headstones and moved them over to this land and left the bodies underneath of the parking lot. So you had a bunch of undisturbed spirits just everywhere that whole entire night. On the way out there, we were working with another team named More Paranormal. And I swear to God, it was like all odds were working against us that night. He went to go up on some terrain tracks, and his whole entire front axle of his car snapped.
Absolutely.
So I had to go back and get them. We were the only ones that we had one car at night because my team just rode up with me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to like make 2 trips. We were late, and it was just a nightmare getting there. Then when we finally got there, it immediately just started just popping off. Even our tour guy was like, I've never seen it this active.
You expect when you leave a building for it to not follow you out, but once you left the building, it just got worse every time.
But whatever was on those grounds, where would we even start with that one? House? Oh, well, the first thing that really honestly kicked everything off was there was this old doctor's office that they had on the grounds. And we were in there, and we were doing a EVP session, and we made contact with the former doctor. And my sister Star, God love her, she found like these old pair of glasses and was putting them on, and she was like, look at this, look at these. And then I went to go do it. Well, as soon as I put them on my face, it felt like somebody literally came up behind me and just reached into my back, grabbed my lungs, and just squeezed as hard as they could, down to the point to where I left and was outside the building getting physically sick. And shortly after that, we started having to where we were like walking around on the property. I would be over, God, like a football field away from like my former teammate Jay, and he was swearing up and down that I was standing right next to him, talking to him. He felt me bump off of him. We were seeing doppelgangers of each other.
What?
As the night was going on. Yeah.
Okay.
I sit out in the car at one point, and Jay came walking up to him, and he was like, "Where's Austin?" And he was like, I was just walking next to him in the woods, and he just took off on me. My brother was just like, he's been in the car almost about ready to pass out for like the last hour and a half.
Oh my God.
I would literally shit my pants.
The entire time we were trying, before we even found him in the car, we thought he was still out in the woods. So we're like, Austin, are you out there? The entire time we kept hearing, I'm over here, guys. And we're just like, what is he doing out in the woods the entire time?
So was his voice like replicated? Like, was your voice like replicated almost exactly?
Yeah, pretty much. Because like later in the investigation, he had to take everyone home, but since their car broke down, we had to take 2 separate trips. So it was me, Star, and a former investigator, Lindsay. It was just us 3 there. And I'm sitting on a fire truck, and all I hear is Austin knocking on the door, going, "Cody, come outside, over here." And he's like 2 hours away.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Like I keep hearing his car going up and down the driveway. I'm like, I I'm not going out there.
No.
We even had it to a point where we were like we were down by an area that was they had like turned to a shooting range, and everybody, including the other team that was with us that night, I was on my way walking out there. There was this big brick house out at the edge of the field, and we remember seeing it. It had candles up in the windows. The door was like a red, kind of like a dark red, and it was like one of those more like colonial style houses. And literally, as soon as I walked up to it and went to go check it out, I looked down for a second. I looked back up, and it was gone.
Shut the.
Everybody was behind me. They were at the edge of the field. They were like, "What the hell just happened?"
Did they see it too?
They seen it.
Yeah. We met back up together at the shooting range, and all of a sudden I just see him standing there. He was like sitting there, just where? I thought you were going to the house. He was like, look up. I look up. I'm just, where did the house go?
Oh.
Just vanished.
God. So,
Yeah.
I have questions about this town, this village.
It's whatever.
That I would not. I would not. For one, good on you for figuring that out very early. People love to continuously go back to locations that absolutely terrify them.
Good on you for being smart.
So this village, you said they took houses from various other towns and put them all in?
They were all part of the town of Defiance, Ohio. They were
Uh-huh.
just moved from their original locations
Oh.
in the town.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the background on, I guess, Defiance? The like was so like I know there's is it called Helltown, Ohio? What is the name of that one?
Helltown used to be Boston. There used to be a former town out here called Boston, Ohio. I've actually been out there. There's hardly anything left of it now.
Right.
I've just gone out there and just torn everything down and actually turned it into what it was supposed to be, a nature reserve.
Gotcha.
And if there is anything out there, it's something that people have summoned up or brought in later on. But as far as the whole town itself goes, it was just the government just came in and just kind of took it.
Did they take it for research purposes?
They took it during the whole national parks movement, like back in the early 70s.
Oh.
When they were like revamping all the parks and stuff. And they basically just walked into Boston and was like, hey, we like this area. Here's some money. You guys move out.
Oh, okay. Because it sounds very much like they would take it for quote unquote research purposes.
Yeah, I mean, there's been rumors that there was a giant snake out there is the reason why that they did it. Then you have like the Ohio melon heads, which are these like mutated people.
No,
The demons, skinwalkers, you name it.
What if you don't want to name it? What if you don't want to name it? And what if you like Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets and you know how big I know how that ends. Like
Right. So is Defiance kind of like in the same category as Helltown, or are these like two separate? Like, is this one got more history to it where you could actually kind of backtrack better with it as opposed to Helltown?
Defiance, you can actually backtrack it, and Helltown, it's literally just a
like a rumor mill. Yeah,
pretty much. It's a rumor mill, and it's also abandoned.
Okay.
Like the whole town's just gone now. So Defiance, you can actually still go through, and they're still operating, and very much going. They took where they were doing renovations to the town and building new houses and stuff. They took all the original pre-existing stuff and just moved it. Some reason.
interesting. That reminds me of There's Ghost Town Terror Show. Have you watched that?
I think I know which one you're talking about.
One where like there's an investigative team that goes out, and I think they're in like freaking bumfucked Egypt of like Montana or something. It is. First off, you shake your head, Nino. It is like bumfuck Egypt, but they're all Western buildings that they took and they transported from various parts of towns and put them in, and somehow there's like a portal or whatever. I don't know.
oh,
But
fun.
yeah, it was really fun. But like that's what that reminds. Like I'm trying to like make it make sense in my head, right? So I'm trying to like
Oh, you're good.
associate it with different things. But wow, that's creepy. So it's still an up and running town. you're saying?
Yeah, the whole town itself is still up and running, and the village itself, anybody can literally book out for themselves.
Okay.
Spend the
Did you
night
guys-
if they want to. They actually have a paranormal convention, I think, this weekend or next weekend.
Oh,
Yeah, I want to go, but I just with everything that happened to us being there, I'm really really hesitant.
I get it. I want to go too, but I value my life. That's kind of thing. Is there like a pay-per-view or an Instagram stream I can just watch that from? Because I'm not.
From the distance.
Right. Yeah, we're supposed to stand across the street and just talk to people as they go in.
Okay, so you'll be like, like, will you actually be there, like, interviewing people as they go in and out, or is that like just like a bit?
Oh, no, just a bit.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, you have to tell us what they say.
No, I mean, I would love to go, but it's just the paranormal community. I love it to death, and I hate to say it, but there's just
It's a lot of drama.
There's so much drama and so much toxicity that we tend to just kind of, hey, you guys do your thing, we're going to do ours.
I get
You
it.
know,
Mhm. Okay, so go on to your manor. Is it Bill Manor?
Bill Manor, yeah.
Bill Manor.
I read that wrong in the email.
I don't know where to begin with that. So Bill Manor is in another little small town, more out towards Michigan. Yeah, out towards Michigan. It's called Fremont.
Mhm.
And the house was built sometime like the late 1890s. The area that it was built in was really up and coming at the time, like booming. And excuse me, they was served as just a mansion when it was first built. And over time, the former owners moved out. The original woman who owned it died. They actually come to find out were allowing their friends and families to use the house for viewings.
Are you freaking what?
They actually had it to where they were living in the place, but they were also able to bring in caskets and bodies, and people were using it as a funeral home as well.
No, I'm Chrissy. I don't know about you. I'm so good.
Really good. Keep going. I was apologize.
But shortly after that, it ended up becoming a home for like disabled, troubled kids, and there was a lot of rumors of different suicides from the kids, possible other things that happened, just with I guess different staff and stuff like that while it was in operation.
Mhm.
Gorgeous, beautiful manor. It's probably one of the most said next to Father John's, the church that we went to, most beautiful place that we've been to.
Nice.
I mean, it was great. That place was awesome. Orbs is the group that owns it. It's actually owned by a paranormal investigator. Like he actually went out of his way to buy the place and fix it up, and now he just opens it up to paranormal tours. The cool thing was when we went there, like a few days prior to when we were there, Jack Osborne and Ozzy Osbourne were there with their show, and I guess that like a weekend prior to that, Ghost Adventures was there.
Oh god.
And he was the owner was like, "Can you guys do us a favor?" And we were like, "What?" And he was like, "Don't leave the place trash." I guess they ran up his heating bill up to $500. They left like wrappers out in his yard,
Just
cans
trash.
everywhere, just completely Ghost Adventures.
Woo.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't Zach because I guess that he doesn't do anything that's on this side of the coast now. It was like mostly Billy and like a few others that worked with them, and Zach was on Skype call and everything. But I'm just like, still, that's extremely disrespectful. I'm like, I don't care if you're a big budget production or whatnot, you don't do that, you know. But the place was already stirred up as it was. We're getting ready to release. Actually, I'm getting ready to release that episode here in a few weeks on our YouTube channel. And I actually got scratched. We got a picture of one of the kids that actually was said to be in one of the bedrooms while Star was scrying. And scrying is when you stare into a mirror for a very long time, and you make out stuff that you're seeing the dim light behind you. Usually have another mirror behind you while you're doing it. And we actually snapped a picture, and you can see a kid leaning on the bed, and he's got like this really deformed, messed up looking face. And it was a really, really, really great investigation. It really was. Beautiful location.
Evidence too.
Yeah, the evidence that we've come across for it has just been off the wall. I mean,
Stuff happening like right in front of your face. Evidence too.
That you can like see physically.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Holding the camera, having to like slide it down, being like, "Is that real?"
There was this one part where he was filming because I just got done going back through and rewatching it, and Star's standing there, and she's saying something. He's got the camera on her, and all of a sudden you see literally one whole part of her hair just lift up and come back down.
I
In the
would.
middle of her, just right in the middle of her talking.
Yeah, there was a camera behind her shining the IR light, and I had one right in front of her. So you had two lights, and plain as day, visible. You just see
Oh no. Nope.
you just like slightly see the camera go down, and just be like, "What?"
Maybe that ghost was like a barber in a past life or something.
Stop it.
She said when she was trying, she was seeing like an older woman with like a Victorian dress on and a messy bun in her hair. And I was like, she could be in here messing with you.
Good, yeah.
Mm-mm.
But, that one, it was definitely one of our more calm down ones.
Oh, that was calm.
Oh, very calm. I mean, the coolest one that we've been to, hands down, was Father John's.
Oh, that was cool.
Over in Bryan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bryan, Ohio. They were a former church that was built like early 1800s. They converted it into a microbrewery and a restaurant. Airbnb. And it's really cool because there's this whole section of it where when you go in, it looks like you walked into a D&D campaign.
Oh my God.
Like you walked into a medieval town to eat. Well, in the back, you go into the back, and they got this table hanging down. It's in the shape of a cross, and when you sit down, you're actually sitting over a opened, crypt.
You can see directly.
You can see directly into the crypt.
The table.
No.
Walls held up by chains.
But the guy that owns it, he's a doctor, and he like travels around the world, and he just collects up all these weird, zany, cursed, and just haunted artifacts and just puts them in there.
Like one room has a sarcophagus.
Yeah, there's literally an Egyptian sarcophagus in one of the rooms. There was a whole coffin in one of the rooms. It's a real coffin, has a real body in it.
I'm so sorry. Wait, I'm gonna need you to. So this place is. I could have sworn I heard you say Airbnb, right?
Airbnb restaurant.
You might have stayed there too. I just never
Slept there.
Airbnb restaurant microbrewery, former church potentially established in the 1800s. The man who owns it is a doctor, and he kept a sarcophagus with a real body.
sounds like something from Goosebumps.
No, it's like something I don't want to go into. And I mean that both the room and the sarcophagus. Like I'm not. It's giving very much like if you it's not a horror movie by any means, but it reminds me of Bad Times at the El Royale. If you've seen that movie,
Yeah.
it's giving those vibes. What on earth would possess someone figuratively to continually add those oddities into a space that's open to the public?
The staff said that he is very eccentric.
We'll go with that.
We'll go, you know what, for legal purposes, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
It is a place to go to now.
They literally over to the side when you walk in have like a solid 7-foot bronze statue of some like warrior monk, Chinese warrior monk that he got out in China.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like the guy Ripley, who owned, the Ripley's Believe It or Not guy.
Yeah.
It sounds like him, but with haunted figures.
Sounds like Mystery Shack from Gravity Falls.
Yes.
All of them.
Oh, yeah.
Explain that. Father John.
Literally.
Oh my God. Oh.
Literally. I mean, you walk in, as soon as you walk in, the first thing that you see is just like a bunch of old crosses and just stuff that they found on the church grounds. It's just displayed right as you walk in. It was just like, okay, yeah, you could tell this place is haunted.
No, it's been around.
Yeah, their food's amazing too.
Oh, they actually. Okay, now is the food non-possessed?
It might be, I don't know. He wolfed it down within like 10 seconds. I watched him put it away in like 2 bites.
We were other investigators, and all I hear is Austin look at one of the other ones and go, "Hey, watch this." They turn around, and all of a sudden they hear, "That was a pretty good sandwich." They turn around, and she's gone.
We have just gotten our food sat down in front of us.
Oh my god.
Oh my God. So if I may
Like,
ask,
I'm shabby sometimes.
oh my gosh. I feel like me too, except for I don't have his metabolism. I want to ask again for those of us who sit in the back of astrology, what is a crypt?
So it's like basically, how would you describe it? It's kind of like a tomb almost. It goes underground, and you got like a pretty much an open area, and then the body will be like up inside the wall.
Like the dungeon keep in Skyrim. When you're like first going through that mountain, the skeletons kind of come out.
Think like a smaller catacomb.
Got it.
One person catacomb.
Got it. Okay. Okay, so like an individual, like almost like mausoleum, but not.
Yeah, just underground pretty much.
Okay, so like okay, got it. Okay, because
Which is weird because here over on this side, in Ohio and stuff, we found it weird because you don't see churches with that over here. They didn't have that, when they were built. So we're like, this is just flat out weird. Like what possessed them to do this?
and look, quite literally, what did possess them? You
Possessed them, and then again, it's an obsession with people moving buildings because that wasn't even originally the church, the original church where it stood.
No.
Moved it over there. I'm like, what is your guys' obsession with
moving
stuff?
So they moved a church on top of a crypt.
Yeah, but
And then they fashioned it into a microbrewery with Airbnb.
Yeah, the Airbnb was actually really, really nice. It really was.
I accidentally
take your word. Yeah, I'm sorry?
I accidentally scared the crap out of an old man by accident. I was sleeping with too. Because I thought like they were gonna wake me up, so I was like, you know what, might as well leave my door like slightly open. So I start hearing that old guy get up, go to the bathroom. I'm like, oh, I should shut it. So all that guy hears is just a door slammed shut. And like for the rest of the day, all I hear is the entire time. I hear freaking out, like, man, so bad now.
So from that area, what kind of evidence did you guys capture?
For Father John's, there was actually quite a bit with that one. We had several times where we were across the building, and we would hear like our motion sensors going off or one of our devices going off. There's a whole part where me and him are walking back into like the restaurant area, and he just pans over in one of the doorways. You just see this big old 8-foot, just solid shadow mass just standing there, just looking at us.
We had a giggling.
Oh no.
Yeah, we had like a little girl there that was like, they kept on like following us around and giggling all night. At one point, it sounded like somebody went into the kitchen and like picked up something heavy and just slung it like up against a wall or something. And we walked in there and we were like, "The hell was that?" And nothing had been touched.
Oh,
Nothing was moving. Nothing looked like it was out of place or anything. So we were like, "Okay." The crypt area, we had it to where literally I was using dowsing rods, and I literally had to take my thumb off of one of my dowsing rods. I think it was on the right side, and because literally it was forcing itself backwards behind me, and literally when I took my thumb off, but it was sitting there just literally like spinning, like it was a helicopter, like it was nothing.
No.
Just constantly spinning. I've never seen dowsing rods ever do that before, and it's something that I've never seen since.
Oh my God.
So it was definitely a wild night with that. It didn't help matters that any time that you turned around, you were smacking off of a statue or something that they had put there.
That just makes it more fun.
Kind of makes it more what?
Makes it more fun.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It's a good thing 2 weeks ago we had a mental health expert on this episode, and we will happily call her back again. Anna Marie, love you. I kind of have to ask this because I'm curious about it. So when you exit these places, when you're done doing what you need to do, how do you ensure that something doesn't latch itself onto you?
We don't.
Fantastic. You know,
That the hard way currently.
So whenever I was out in the village, it kind of bounces in between here, wherever my sister's staying at, which is with my brother now, my other brother now, and our two former investigators. Our former investigator, Lindsay, she had it after the investigation the worst. She has a 2-year-old and a 12-year-old.
oh, that's a reason.
And they share a room, and the 12-year-old got up and was like, "Mom, can you go into the room and get Zendaya? You know, she's in there banging on stuff. She's in there throwing stuff around." She said she keeps on shaking her crib, telling me to let her out. Well, Lindsay looked at her and was like, "What are you talking about?" And she was like, she's literally in there screaming and shaking the side of her crib, telling me, "Let me out, let me out." Her other daughter had been with her dad literally for 2 days and not been home.
Oh no.
Respectfully, fuck no.
That's what I said. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was down to the point to where she watched her boyfriend literally come downstairs, literally walk out her front door, and me and him were roommates at the time. So he was in a completely different town than what she was at the time.
Oh my God.
I haven't seen it. I also got a picture of it on accident.
Yeah, we got a picture of whatever's here. It was looking out the window at me one night up here when I came pulling in. I mean, you can literally see it. It's like stands almost to the top of the window, and you can literally see it just looking down on me.
And you can see it like running around the house, like coming in here, the blankets moving, everything.
And sometimes nothing will ever happen. It's just like it just kind of bounces between all of it.
And do we have plans to make it skedaddle somewhere else? Far, far away?
Like, now it doesn't really show.
Yeah, me and him have cussed it out so much that it doesn't really do anything. It just kind of pops in from time to time, lets itself be known, and then it leaves.
Like, we'll sit there talk about it, and all of a sudden, like, upstairs, like, you see, like, a light block out from the living room, just go off on it and just disappear.
And like, just because I'm genuinely asking this, there's no possible way for any of these things that might have potentially attached themselves to you to possibly go through a Wi-Fi server and like
Come to my Nino.
Listen, I have a black cat, so I feel like I'm good. I feel like my cat's gonna beat the shit out of whatever tries to come into this house. I know Chrissy is tough, her husband is tough. So
I can imagine just holding this big.
Oh, you should see. We had one of those little mosquito things enter our house. Gone within 2 minutes. My cat's like, fuck this. Like,
Oh my God. Okay, so what's your favorite location to date so far? Is it the church one or
Has to be
oh, the Airbnb brewery mausoleum sarcophagus. That's cool.
I don't know. I think mine would honestly have to be the Paranormal Misfit. That one was still we did before we did Father John's microbrewery. We also did a former funeral home, and this place was literally, it was so cool. It was so cool. They literally had to where when you you were in the basement, the embalming table was still down there.
No.
You could see like where the floor would open up to where they would haul bodies down like by chains to pull back up for viewings and stuff. I mean, it was like a beautiful, just old timey.
It was the first investigation so far that's actually put me on the floor.
Yeah, he got dropped at the house.
Yeah, the guy was like, just a fair warning, there was lots of flies. Something is inside this room.
No.
Just like something staring at us from the stairwell.
We got that.
Oh.
We got a little kid talking to us. A woman crying. The funeral home was definitely one of our more interesting ones, even though I almost got stuck in a crawl space.
Oh no. No.
I think I'm busy that day. No.
So how long do you guys spend researching locations to go investigate before you actually go investigate them?
A lot of times, honestly, Star is really the only one that does. I like to go in pretty much blinded and let the owners and everybody tell us about the history. That way, while we're filming, I can get everybody's just involved and emotional, reactions to it, to everything. I just feel like there's just more. I don't know. I guess feels more human that way on camera instead of us going in there and being like, oh yeah, we already know that. It's more interesting to see everybody be like, whoa,
Yeah. Okay.
If I may also ask, like, what location would you investigate if money wasn't an issue?
Money wasn't an issue.
Hmm.
I already know which one he would do.
Oh, which one?
I would be hands down Randolph Infirmary.
One more time.
Randolph Infirmary.
Where did that?
It's like on the border of inside Indiana, like on the border of Ohio.
He hasn't been the only place that he's been outside of Ohio is like Indiana, West Virginia, and Florida. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he doesn't really know much else. But my two picks would definitely have to be the Stanley Hotel or Alcatraz.
But just from the stuff I've seen from like Destination and Project Fear, Randolph,
Mhm.
it just made it like solid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
Yay, I know places to avoid now.
I've always wanted to go to the Stanley, watch The Shining as a kid, number one. And number two, I was out in that area, God, now 8 years ago. And I actually stopped in and actually got to go inside the Stanley and just look at it and stuff. And I'm like, this is so cool. And ever since then, I've wanted to do it so bad.
Oh my God.
So bad.
Definitely do, and then let us know.
That's the issue with some of these places. They outprice themselves. There's some places. I know that there's like a small asylum up in New York. I know she's under a lot of fire right now because she's wanting to charge like people like $5,000 just for an 8-hour night up there.
Just please.
Spend the night.
To investigate.
Oh, not to investigate.
It's just like, she's trying to get like these YouTubers in there and these TV stars and everything else.
$5,000.
Yeah, like I don't think that's really good. We pay anywhere from like generally fucking what 200 to 600,
Okay.
600 max, depending on the size of the location.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think that's fair.
Let's see. Okay, so I noticed that you mentioned Nick Groff, right? And I love Nick Groff. I do. I think he's probably the most level-headed when it came to the Ghost Adventures. And I think the quality. Just before I actually get into my little soapbox on this real quick, this is just my opinion. Please don't sue me. Thank you. Okay. So I am a millennial, as I'm sure most of us are. Hopefully, either that or I just showed my age. Okay, cool. Anyways, so early 2000s, we had Ghost Adventures and we had Ghost Hunters, and I loved the Ghost Adventures because it was a little trio. My dad used to call them like the Scooby-Doo gang or whatever. And I love the earlier stuff. And then when Nick Groff kind of fell off, I feel like we went to a really weird, like everything's demonic kind of phase.
Yeah.
Right? Everything's demonic, everything's possessing, everything, like it drove me nuts. So anyways, so I noticed, because I usually do a slight deep dive on our guest. I noticed you don't like Zach Baggins. And once again, guys, this is all everybody's opinions. Opinions are a little bit of a free
Opinions are-
speech here.
Yeah. It's a lot of free speech. It's completely subjective.
Yep.
Everything that we talk about is no grounds for any legal action. So
That's right.
take
All right. Take it away. I noticed you don't like Zach Baggins. So can you kind of give me a little bit on that one? Because I love this guy.
Well, after dissecting Ghost Adventures as a whole as a show, if you actually really watch it, you can tell where stuff is staged, where stuff is faked. I know that there was an incident about 4 or 5 years ago where they were doing a live, and in the background you've seen their setup for how they doctor stuff, and they were like in the middle of doing something with their audio stuff. Aaron Goodwin went on a podcast. God, it's been a couple of years now, and basically said that if they don't catch anything when they go out there, that travel basically makes them go back in and record stuff, and then they kind of just alter it and tamper with it. Nick Groff has said it too.
Oh.
Personally, against Zach Baggins, I don't have anything personally against him. I just think that he is the biggest fraud ever in paranormal investigation.
I'm going to say, he reminds me of the Warrens.
The man's dad was even quoted by saying, "I wish that my son would have finished high school instead of pursuing his theatrics."
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then, the whole finding out, oh, he's not going to be present at, Ghost Adventures actual investigations. He's going to stay over Skype calls with us. Like, come on, dude. You just you can tell the reason why you got into this.
Mm-hmm.
That's personally the only reason why I have issues with him. I just feel like the paranormal is just something that really shouldn't be extremely, extremely capitalized on in the way that he has.
No, yeah.
That matter.
Yeah. I mean, it's just weird too, because like the last maybe 5 places that we've gone, Nick Groff's Death Walker had been there like a week or 2 prior to us, so we've always somehow stayed like a week behind on where Nick Groff's been. Weirdly enough. But yeah, Zach, I think a lot of it, if it's real, if they have caught anything real, I'm not saying that they haven't.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's mostly played up or exaggerated. Yeah. The same thing with the Warrens. I mean, they had to sell books.
Yeah.
Back then, so it's going to be exaggerated. It's going to be blown up. I look back on the Warrens cases, and I'm like, I've been in this field now this is my 15th year this year, and I'm like, I have never experienced or seen anything even close to some of the crap that you guys have seen. So it's just kind of like, it's kind of doubtful,
So how do you go about because to me the paranormal is like a little subgenre of like the science community, even though it's like the redheaded stepchild, right? So it is. I mean,
seriously one day.
eventually, right? How do you go about keeping like that scientific mindset when you're looking at your evidence that you have captured? Like, do you go with the debunking first before you go, okay, cool, like I just caught them? Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you like?
It's
what's
debunk. I honestly believe in what Jason and Grant from Ghost Hunters, from what they said. If you can, you debunk and debunk and debunk, and if you what you're left with, if you can't debunk it, you use as evidence.
Okay.
So like if say for instance we're in a place and somebody comes in and then we notice across the room, okay, they just walked in and that door opened. We'll have them go back outside and open that door a few times, just close this door and see if maybe there's like a suction.
Right.
Yes. Or, 99% of the time with the paranormal, there's usually some type of rational explanation.
Of course.
Except for the stuff that we seen at that village.
Well, there was at one point where you see just a figure just standing at the tree line, just watching us.
I have no words for that one because I've never ever been on a case before. 15 years of doing this where there were doppelgangers running around.
I'm
You didn't your own doppelganger, right? Everyone.
No, we were seeing we were seeing each other.
Okay, that's.
Because I always heard it was bad if you see your own doppelganger. It doesn't end well. So
yeah.
Think of like the movie Us.
yeah.
Oh, I go too.
Oh, that's where I was like, think of Hermione's time turner. Like that's where I went.
No, I went.
Okay, you went far. I kept it scholastic. Like,
Oh my god.
I promise you, we take our job as podcast hosts very seriously.
We do. So what locations do you guys have up next?
Well, up next we are going to the Mysterious Monroe House, which is one that Nick Rock has been on and I guess advocating for like the past year and trying to figure out what's been going on there. It goes anywhere from the range of just portals to just weird lights. There's just a bunch of bizarre stuff that's happening in this house. And then after that, we're planning on going to the Infield Demon House in Infield, Indiana.
Okay. The Monroe. Did he do that one on? What was the name of that one? Is it Death Walker? Did he also do it with Katrina? I cannot remember the name of their show.
Yeah, I think that they recently they're still working with them like hands on still to this day. Him and Katrina. So probably on both, honestly.
Okay.
I know Death Walker. It's definitely on Death Walker.
Okay. All right. Because I think I know which one that is, but I'll have to
Yes.
deep dive.
Really good, really good. I know Austin Menard, the guy that we were working with, he's about ready to be on there. He just started filming with them, I think, like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely gonna be interesting to see what comes out of it.
That'll be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So like, how you guys usually do your investigations between 6 to 8 hours each time you go investigate? Okay.
Yeah.
So like, how long does it take to go through that footage? I wondered that.
The way they both just like,
Bill Manor, I do all the editing. I do all this pretty much by myself. I have no help with it. He wants to, but he's still so into the early stages of editing. I just can't get. He's just not ready yet. We had 6 hours of footage across 3 cameras.
Oh my god.
Then like almost 7 hours across all of our recorders that I had to go through. So altogether, it usually takes me up to about 12 to 16 hours, as long as I'm working on it nonstop to go through everything.
Oh my god.
and that's just to confirm, that's to just review the footage or
Just to review, and then I get the joys of going back through it again, pulling out all the boring stuff, picking out the highlights, and then putting it into the episode, and editing all that together into like one big cohesive episode.
So compact that for us. Like if it's 12 to 16 hours to review the footage and then you got to go do it again, pull out the highlights and then put everything up, like what is that total timeline? What is that? If you were to go nonstop, what would that be?
Probably about 2-3 days.
Oh my god.
It used to be back when my grandpa had passed on us back in July, and I had inherited like a large amount of money, and I took some time off of work, and that's the way it was. I had like my garage set up into like actual band studio, and then there was like a podcast room that we had set up out there as well, and then I also have like a little editing table, and I would go out there and I would just brew up some coffee and hit my vape, and then I'd sit down and just 12, 14 hours to sit there, just going through it nonstop editing. And I would have it done within like 3 days, but I'm like sitting there like I need to sleep.
I'd be like a pile of
just monster cans just over in the corner where I was just sitting there just editing.
Oh my.
Yeah, and then my team's got enough nerve to be like, "You're not putting out the episodes quick enough."
I didn't.
He's like, I didn't say that. Don't point to me.
Point that person out. I'll go. Listen, I've said it numerous times on this show. I'm a hood rat. Point that person out.
Because that's a lot. Oh my God.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, everybody else is kind of like, "Why are you not having it out?" I'm like, "Man, I also work like, I pull 12-hour shifts throughout the week too on top of it. I ain't got time.
Man.
I don't have time to sit down for 14, 16 hours and
Yeah.
standing away. I can't do it anymore."
Oh my God.
Okay. So Nino and I love horror movies.
Yes, we do.
And our horror movies.
Can I ask them?
You can ask.
question?
Yes.
Austin and Cody. What's your favorite scary movie?
Well, it's not really scary, but Ghostbusters.
Bitch. Now how the fuck? Hold on, pause. No. We're gonna tap dance on that for a second. All right. Listen, I feel like we're friends now. This man said he done hung out at an Airbnb mausoleum, something. This man done seen doppelgangers of his friends. This man done, and then you gonna whip out Ghostbusters as your favorite horror movie? What? Now, go ahead. Connect them dots for me, conspiracy theorists. Connect them dots for me, please.
He's literally got a shrine to the Ghostbusters built in the tree.
Yeah, really?
He's like, don't say that to them.
Just random stuff like
Just all the versions.
Doctor? Yeah.
We know this.
We know them.
this is one of those days when it was just first showed to me, I was like, oh hey, I like this, and then just started.
When he was younger, he used to be scared to death of it.
Of Ghostbusters?
When he was like 5, maybe like 7 or 8, I used to put on Scooby Doo on Zombie Island, and he would literally climb a wall.
So
Wow.
I never saw the ending, so I didn't know it was actually a good ending. So I kind of
God. Next, you're gonna tell me that Titanic is a romance movie. Like, gee. So how does someone go?
He's trying to wrap his head around how do you go from being around doppelgangers and stuff to only.
No. Well, how do you go from the beginning? Start getting like how do you go from I
like the Exorcist.
a what?
I like the Exorcist. I mean, that's like,
Okay, there's a better answer.
We got it.
No. We're gonna keep it because this is just hilarious to me. So the Exorcist, not the new one that came out, because God, that was terrible. Real quiet in the studio. When I say studio, I mean thank you, StreamYard. So okay, so The Exorcist, that I will accept.
Mhm.
Like,
what is it? The Possession of Emily Rose.
It's a good movie.
Yeah,
That was a very underrated movie.
wasn't Shay Mitchell in that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, she did really good on Pretty Little Liars.
Like Dahlia.
Oh, Black Dahlia was good.
The entire case itself, I sit there, I'm like, whoa.
I love that. Okay. Well, see, this is so now I don't have to poke fun at you as because it's funny that like you're sorry, I just want to say this. It's funny that the connection to your favorite movie being Ghostbusters, and then you literally do that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I got it. Who are you gonna call? Dead Watch. What about you, friend? What's your favorite scary movie?
No, I want to say Blair Witch, but after a rewatch of it the other night, I'd have to say Grave Encounters.
Grave Encounters.
Yes.
Yes, hands down. It's just there's something about that movie. It just I feel like that's how people like number one Zach Baggins would operate, where he's paying people off to get. They say that this happened. And just the way it's all conducted, it was just like a giant spoof of Ghost Adventure wrapped inside like Blair Witch style horror movie. It was just like, this is great. This is the greatest thing ever.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this is great. Do you have so I know we've talked about upcoming locations that you guys are going to be investigating paranormally. That's a word. Look it up.
Okay.
Are there any particular horror movies that are lined up for 2024 that you've heard of that you're interested in seeing? Don't answer at once.
No.
Actually, after seeing what happened with Halloween Ends and the new Exorcist, I'm not anything that really comes out with horror right now. I'm just kind of like with because I got such a bad taste left in my mouth, but thanks to Blumhouse.
God. Wait, okay, so we're just gonna pull it. Can I direct your attention to today's episode that's coming out, which is my 2024 Q1 horror movie review so far? That's gonna come out like I think Chrissy and I both rip apart Blumhouse.
Yes.
Well, then I find out the other day, I get online, then I find out that they acquired the rights to Blair Witch.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
They're playing on like a whole nother trilogy with that.
Yes.
They don't have to. That's the fun thing about doing things is you don't have to.
You don't have to do it, and Blumhouse doesn't have to do it at all. Not after Halloween Ends. I'm still really upset about that movie.
They should hand over the rights. Speaking of handing over movie, I can't say anything about that. But if anything, Blumhouse should hand over those rights to like A24 or Neon. Personally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I think. Go ahead.
I know that they're not around as much or handing it back to Action Films, the original creators. They'd be able to handle it. I know that they just came out with a movie a few years ago, Exists. It was like a found footage style movie that involved like Bigfoot.
Okay.
Yeah, it actually wasn't bad. It was just really low budget and cheesy, but I hate every second of that up. I love those low budget, cheesy, crappy horror movies. Like this is great.
I have to then ask, have either of you seen any movies in the Terrifier family?
I've seen the first one, and then I tried to watch the second one. My issue with Terrifier is I love the idea that they're trying to bring back the slasher genre. Absolutely love it. My issue with it is I'm a big fan of the gore, but using it classfully and tastefully. I just feel like the Terrifier series just takes it over the top just to take it over the top. Like it's just really unnecessary.
I can get it.
A lot of horror series, I like Saw, and Saw got like that for me. It was just like you guys are just getting brutal and gory with it just to get brutal.
Saw was like literal. Saw at one point became just like blood porn at one point.
Yes.
It's just torture porn.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. I skipped that day of orientation on I forgot the word.
So it sounds like your favorite subgenre of horror is found footage, which, by the way, I love found footage. I think the Koreans do it the best.
The best.
The best.
Yeah.
Because they terrify the shit of me. And I'm dumb enough to watch it late at night with the lights off and everything by myself. But that's a different story for a different day.
Those were actually my big inspirations going into when I set up Dead Watch, and when we started filming and my filming style. I've had my investigators look at me. Why don't we take it to more like where it's like actually like it's on a TV show? And I'm like, no, I want to keep that found footage kind of style. I said because the idea was it was going to be like there was an old. I'm a huge fan of it, still am to this day. Not a lot of people know about it. It was an old 2001 Fox horror series called Freaky Links. It starred Ethan Embry back in the day. And that's actually where the eyeball idea came from. And it's from the creators of Blair Witch. So I just kind of like took that and just kind of, it was my main inspiration for it. And we just rolled with that. And for some reason, it's just worked.
So Austin, we've gotten your favorite subgenre. Cody, what would be your favorite subgenre? And you can't say comedy because you've already
No comedy.
Huh.
Okay.
Just because I like the old. I kind of like how maybe you just like went into like a random barn or something. Like, what's this? You pop in the tape. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, because that's where I keep my VCR and my TV set is in my barn.
Or like something like that. You just like at an old estate sale or something. Just like, oh, this is cool. No, it's terrifying.
I love it. You guys are such good sports for me giving you like all the shit right now. Oh, finally. My husband and I, we just watched Dracula 2001. And the only good thing that I've noticed, the editing, and of course, like the editing sucks, and all of like not sucks, but like for its time, it was great. The one thing that I found to be really interesting about Dracula 2001 is it actually talks about the voyage of the Demeter.
Also, they tied that over.
It tied in the last voyage of the Demeter that came out, I think, last year.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this is good. Like this is like it almost feels like a 23-year-long joke. Like, not a joke that's funny, but it's like, LOL, if you didn't know, now you do.
So I noticed on your Instagram, you guys kind of share a lot of it's kind of like, and also on TikTok too, you guys share a lot of the people who share their own paranormal, looks like videos and stuff, like whenever they're showing so
Yeah,
like,
we do a little segment. It's like called like found footage, and like I just take footage that either people have sent in to me or I just come across online, and we just kind of put it up for display.
so how do you determine, I guess, what because like people are great at editing, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, how do you determine which one is not necessarily like heavily edited, or if you do like a quick Google search, someone on
We can usually do a quick Google search, and a lot of times there's like telltale signs with it. Like I hate to say it, Ghost Adventures. I'll use them as an example. Like the first documentary at the Goldfield Hotel, they used like a sort of way to look at the video to see if there was a wire on the brick that got thrown. We kind of do that. If they're faking it, there's going to be a certain angle. Like if they're moving something that it's going to move at, it's not going to look like it's moving naturally. It's going to look like it's being pulled. You can usually see it with that, or you got these people on there that like to do it for satire. You can usually pick it out, but a lot of the times I will just find it, and as long as it seems like it looks kind of real, I'll go ahead and post it, and then I mostly leave it up for the person watching to decide, hey, do you think this is real or not?
How do we feel about the footage everyone takes of the Siberian dancing lady?
Oh, isn't it the Serbian?
Serbian? Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Because like that one, her face creeps me out. Not gonna lie. The lady's face creeps me out. And just like any of the ones people find whenever they're coming from like Mexico, with like coming across brujeras or brujeria. I apologize. So like the ones where they find them in Mexico, like the different real creepy, like they'll go across like looks like a dilapidated house or whatever, but then there's like the big rituals happening in the back or whatever, and the people are like running through. Like, I love those. I don't know why I get sucked down the rabbit hole of those. Like, I can spend hours watching those.
We can tell.
Shh.
That I've come across out in Mexico, I'm watching, I'm just like, you guys got either this is fake or you guys have got like some crazy shit going on down there. I'm like, there's something going on. I was like, there's no way. I was like, there's no way.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But it could also be to where they're more culturally tied.
Yeah, I was gonna say they do have El Dia de los Muertos, like the Day of the Dead. They do have they honor the dead and their loved ones who have passed on, and I think that is culturally amazing and it's beautiful. And I've walked in a procession before in college. I was alive at the time, just by the way, and still am, and like how they do these things that they tie to like those who have passed is beautiful. I don't know necessarily. This is more of a question to people of that culture, but like, wouldn't that create like a portal of other things to be able to come in?
I would imagine so. Um, I mean, with the paranormal field, it's hard to say because nobody's really an expert on this. There's no experts on the field. I mean, you see people on TV, paranormal experts, just like, yeah, right. You know, there's
Oh yeah.
always teams finding new stuff. There's always teams that are debunking stuff or proving stuff wrong that some other team thinks is true. But yeah, I think that's honestly the biggest thing is preventing it from becoming an actual science is because none of these teams just want to come together with everything and be like, look, you know, how are you guys going? You know, we have, you know, thousands now of hours of this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, legitimate teams out here. God, how are you going to explain this?
Yeah.
But no thanks to ego and everything else.
I think one of the things we might not have touched on is Demi Lovato had a show on Peacock called Unidentified.
I remember it.
And I remember seeing and this is not a job at Demi. I love me some Demi vocally. And there was that thing that was posted online where Demi was singing Skyscraper and the paranormal entity liked it. Like, how the fuck are you gonna know that?
Right.
So you're telling me someone who passed in like the 1800s is a fan of Demi Lovato 2021?
I mean, there's always those rumors circulating around with Hollywood and music scenes, sell their souls and everything else.
We actually might be getting into the next episode.
So while we're on that, what is your favorite conspiracy theory that's going around right now?
Oh, good Lord, where's the start?
Like, hold on, let me grab my scroll of.
Ghostbusters.
After doing a little bit of research into it, I'm starting to kind of question it. Is the whole Taylor Swift and a bunch of these other musicians doing witchcraft and sending out like these power waves of just energy through their crowds, and people literally getting knocked down and getting physically sick and affected by it. Like, and you know, I watched one where Taylor Swift was up there. She was basically doing like a ritual
Oh yeah.
style up on stage, and I was just like, and people were reporting that they were feeling sick during it, nauseous, and they were feeling weird energies out in the crowd and stuff. And I was like, wouldn't surprise me at this point. I mean, it was so blatantly up in your face with the Satanism a few years ago. No, it's no surprise.
Mm-hmm.
I think that one's been my favorite so far. That one and the Wizard people.
How about you?
I watched the video. I watched the video the other night with the Y-Files.
Mm-hmm.
I know it was talking fish, and it was something about how the lizard people here on Earth feed on your emotions, and that when you die, there's a box up on the moon that collects your soul and transfers your soul back out here to Earth. That way you're reincarnated. That way they can continue feeding off of your emotions.
Can I? At this point, if my spirit passes, will it make it through the firmament? We don't know.
No, no.
What about?
Oh, sorry. This big black box on the moon that's collecting up souls. It seems just so funny to me. I'm like, there's just something about that just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I'm like, how did you guys go from lizard people to a big black box that collects souls on the moon? Like that was a stretch.
Have any of these people tried like mac and cheese, or have they had an Uncrustable? Like, you know, just really get back to the simple pleasures of what we do.
Cody, do you have a particular conspiracy theory that you have?
So much, I don't really know which one. Or what. I don't draw a blank, really. Just because there's just so much out there, I'm just like, I think you just need to sit down.
Last time I asked him and my team that question, they all literally looked at me with a straight face and said the Titanic submarine was an inside job. The submarine implosion last year.
Oh, ocean thing.
Yeah, the ocean incident.
Oh, so Titanic had a submarine.
A lot of people on my team believe that it was an inside job.
What
Well,
makes y'all think that? Hold on. I need reference points.
I don't know. I don't know if he believes it, but I know Star does, and so does my other teammate Landon. They're not here today, so
What do you remember from their argument as to why they go down that route?
because it was something about because of the way that it was sealed from the outside, and there was no way to get out from the inside. It just didn't make much sense. But I did see another conspiracy on that one that it was like supposedly a sacrifice to some ocean god or something. I'm like, you guys are like getting like way, way, way out there with this.
Poseidon must have been hungry that day.
That's what I'm saying. Or Neptune, if you want to go the Roman route.
My favorite one was the that we were all going to get like annihilated during the eclipse as like a sacrifice.
Oh yeah, plot twist, who's still alive?
Yeah, I watched the eclipse, and then after it happened, I just kind of like stood there. I was just like, I like looked around. I was just like, shit, I have to go to work today. Damn it.
Damn it.
Damn it. Gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Do you guys have a favorite cryptid? Because I know Ohio is known for some cryptids. Oh, look at Cody. He's like, hold on.
I already know what your favorite is. You go to the freaking festival every year.
Mothman.
Yeah. He's a diehard firm believer in Baltimore.
So I have to ask, for those of us who sit in the back of algebra, what is Mothman?
Okay. I'll do it. So,
In 4 words or less. No, I'm kidding.
okay, in 4 words or less.
No.
So in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, right? It's West Virginia, not Virginia. Which one is it? It's West Virginia. Okay, in
West
Point
Virginia.
Pleasant, West Virginia in the 1950s, there was a creature that was seen flying that caused the collapse of a bridge, right? Or am I confusing that with the movie? There's a movie called The Mothman Prophecies.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
But so Mothman is basically a big winged, I don't know whether to call him a humanoid or more of like an insectoid, but supposedly it really only happened like once, but everyone claims that every so often they see like another Mothman flying through. Apparently, because I am a Destination Truth person, a Josh Gates fan, Expedition X did an episode with the two, and apparently Mothman was also seen in Chicago. Don't know how that happened. Don't know how that happened, but he travels. But he's just this really big, and like when people see him, supposedly like tragedy is not far behind.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a omen of death.
Yeah.
And you pretty much expect somebody, if you see him, you can pretty much expect some type of mass death. Somebody close to you. So you're going to pass.
Yeah. You should really Google Mothman statue because they gave Mothman some cheeks.
Yeah, they did. I actually posted on Instagram the other day. People keep on going out there and sticking nickels in between his butt cheeks. I said, quit putting toys between Mothman's dump truck.
That's right.
That statue got some cheeks.
Oh my god, it does. That statue has a body. Why he look hot? Hold on. Dang. Oh, he got them thighs. Got some
I gave him a
thighs.
lower half, that's for sure.
Yeah, they give him a little bit of chest hair, and he got that ass. Oh, he got booty.
Yeah, Mothman Festival, it is really cool.
Is it?
Yeah, every September, like 16th and 17th, they have it.
Yeah, because that was the original date, right? Of whenever the sighting happened. So, okay. All right. Now I'm down this little route. All right. So my youngest, so I have three kids. My youngest loves to fall asleep to people with accents. So we used to fall asleep to the Great British Baking Show. Then we fell asleep to Swamp People. I love Swamp People also. Self-sufficiency, their stuff is amazing. But anyways, ADHD. So sorry. I know I'm trying. I'm trying to get there. It's almost there. The train is almost. It's almost okay.
We gotta get to the station.
I'm trying. Trying. Okay, so I know that they frequent this festival. Mountain monsters. I can.
Oh, I love those guys so much. They are
They're
so exaggerated. Like, I didn't know hunting Bigfoot could become serialized. Like, I have never seen two dudes or a group of people that just want to go out to the woods just for the sole reason, just to fucking fight a Bigfoot. Like, they don't even want to capture it at this point. They just want to fight it.
At this point, it's just funny going, I can show you the move over there.
And for what cracks me up the most is for some reason they have like a huge beef with the Ohio Grassman. For just no reason whatsoever.
on top of that, make them about between 50 to 60 freaking years old. We are talking so grown of men running around in the forest screaming. One of them, I woke up one night and I was like, why is Huckleberry covered in blood and almost naked? I need to go back to bed. This is a wild dream. Like, please stop.
All the episodes were like fever dreams, I swear.
It's great watching them each time, though.
I think they're kind of like the ones that go hand in hand with Ghost Adventures. They're just entertaining to watch.
Bad because they're like, oh, then this one's connected to this one, and look, they created a cave system, and they got a map, and look, they're using the rivers. They know what the rivers are. I'm like, guys.
My favorite was when my favorite parts are when the old guy's like, we're going to build a trapper. He's like, we're going to build a simple cage, and it's just like some type of Scooby-Doo freaking off the wall mousetrap cage contraption.
It always goes off. We got him. And
somehow they catch anything.
There's nothing.
There's nothing there. And we're talking like they're about like a 12 to 13 like foot high type of contraption that the two guys.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the men's height, and I was like, oh, they should top Bigfoot easily.
They look like they top off at 6'5".
Oh, that's still tall.
Only one of them. The other one's like, I cannot remember his name.
It's taller than me.
I mean,
You're talking about the younger one.
The younger one's like what, like 5'8" maybe?
Yeah, he's really short and he's like really round, but he's like every time you turn around, he's always on the ground. Every episode, he somehow ends up on his ass. And it doesn't matter if they're trying to cross over a stream or they're just walking down a hill, he ends up on his ass. He's the youngest one out of the group, so you're like, how?
The spina will bifida, you know what I mean?
Oh yes. So yeah, thank you for that. That was great. Because you guys were like, we're from Ohio, and I was like, I have so many questions. And a lot of them don't just pertain to the paranormal, it also goes into cryptids because of that stupid freaking show.
Yeah, we love all of it.
Y'all
We actually had a dogman sighting, Michigan dogman sighting down here in town actually about 2-3 months ago.
So we're gonna have to deep dive on that one. I don't know if I'm well versed in Dogman. I mean, I've heard of the little comic book series my kid reads that's like the superhero dog.
No.
No, okay.
So the dogman, they were mostly spotted out in Michigan, but for some reason here recently they've been spotted like in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and they're basically basically picture a werewolf. Just more of, instead of like a wolf's features, just more of an actual dog's feature.
No.
Pretty disturbing, but a lot of people, I mean, there are like thousands of people who have reported seeing this up in the national parks up in Michigan, here in Ohio, and stuff like that. My mom swears up and down like 2-3 months ago she's seen one run out. She was on her way to work, like 5 o'clock in the morning.
No.
We live in a small, isolated farmer's town, so I mean, there's no telling. So
No.
We run around the town at night, so if we ever encounter, we're like, oh, well, we're dead.
yeah, literally, just like we'll go out at like 10 o'clock, and the whole town goes to sleep at like 10. So you'll literally have just overrun of the town literally all night to yourself. like that.
I would
small.
probably be sleeping with the rest of the town.
Oh, you me too. I love sleep. Is that a paranormal hobby? Because that
No, we've actually developed insomnia now over
well,
doing this.
if you need help sleeping, I know of a great Airbnb you can stay at.
I would love to.
So when you were down here in Florida, and Jacksonville's not far from St. Augustine, did you do any of the ghost tours or anything down there?
I did do the Augustine Lighthouse because I was down in Augustine literally pretty much 24/7.
Oh, I love that place.
Pretty much lived on the beach down there. And every chance that I got, I was out there. Even when my ex was at work, I would just drive out there. She would call me when she got home and like, "Bitch, you went to the beach without me?" I should be sitting out there on the pier in Augustine.
Nice.
Yeah, the lighthouse tour was the only one that I really did have a chance to do. I mean, it was really interesting. I just wish I would have actually been able to investigate it instead of through and having people tell me stuff. But it was really interesting, though, and I wouldn't mind maybe here, like the next year or so, maybe getting it set up for us to actually investigate it later on. It's just moving forward.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Definitely love it down there. Augustine definitely is now one of the most beautiful places I've ever.
Absolutely. I live there. I don't really live there. I wish I did. It's just
Christy, one day.
one day.
Well, next to the Keys were also.
I would love to go tours the Keys. I'm not.
The Ball Museum, I did it back 10, 12 years ago. I toured that one, and it was really interesting. And it was true. The person that was with my aunt, she took a picture of him, and every single picture in her camera roll after she went back to go back and look through them was all the same picture around them all.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What? No.
You're like, no.
Yeah.
All right.
Really quick, before we wrap up, go ahead and tell our audience where they can find you.
Mm-hmm.
We are Dead Watch. You guys can follow us. We're mostly primarily on Instagram, but you guys can follow us on Facebook. It's at Dead Watch. Then we have our YouTube, and that is Dead Watch Reality. And then we have our TikTok, and that's official Dead Watch. We would love any type of support. And we always are interacting with our fans and our commenters and everything else. So
Heck yeah. Well, you heard it here first.
Thank you so much for having us on.
Oh my God.
An awesome first podcast.
Of course. Thank you all. Thank you both so much for being here. And we know that you don't have to stay, but if you are going to leave, you might as well creep out. For 40 years,